Good morning from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I am with Tice Carlson, I'm Megan McEwen, and it is Carb Day here at the Speedway, gearing up for the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. It's a pretty exciting day.
It is a very exciting day. You know, it's a crazy day for the fans, even crazier for the drivers and the teams, hoping that nothing happens so they have to, get that new car prepared for race day.
Now this is an exciting day. Drivers will have an hour and a half practice, but it's an even more exciting day for the fans. You see, we are on this traditional Indy sign. You see these all across our great city, and this one's outside the pagoda.
It is, and these guys are having a blast. It rained here early, but if you look through this plaza area, no one cares.
It is a lot of fun out here, and we expect to have a lot of fans. This is really the first day that you're going to see a ton of people out here enjoying the race and getting ready for the festivities that come with the Indianapolis 500.
Absolutely. Historically, there's usually about 100,000 people here on Carb
Woo!
Day, and it's amazing. In Turn 3, it rained. That's where all the real rowdies are, in Turn 3. So if you ever want to have pictures to not tell your kids about, that's where you go.
There we go. Now, talking about the Indianapolis 500 coming here, we'll step off here. We have a lot of people trying to get pictures in front of the Indianapolis sign. It's an exciting day. Look, everybody around here, very popular tourist attraction. Great if you want to post this to your Instagram, Tice. I know you're going to be wanting to do that. Now, this race coming up here, Simon Pagenaud starting on the pole. What does he need to do in order to make the most of that starting position?
So going through today, he just needs to make sure the car has a proper balance. So running traffic a little bit, but one of the main things that they're going to do is they're going to do pit stop practice. There's over 6 pit stops in this 500-mile race, so they average right around that 7-second mark. So it's really up to the team to really kill those pit stops, because if not, you can lose a lot of time on the track.
You mentioned these pit stops coming up here. People who have won the Indianapolis 500, driver Tony Kanaan, driver Scott Dixon, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Will Power, Elio Castroneves, they say everything needs to go absolutely perfectly in order to win this race, and that includes the pit stops. How much pressure does that put on a driver in order to perform perfectly in every aspect of this race?
Well, it's a lot of pressure. So you usually get called into the pits when you're going down the front straightaway. So you have to run another complete lap around this 2.5-mile oval, and you have to come off of turn 4, and you have to go from 230 miles per hour down to like 65 miles per hour when you hit pit road. And if you're pitted where Simon is, all the way down at the end of pit road, it seems like it takes 3 days to get down there. You get your pit stop done, and then you got to get back on the track. You got to get back up to speed, ASAP, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Well, and this is a race where a lot of people say position doesn't necessarily matter as much because it's an oval. Why doesn't position matter as opposed to with the Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago, positioning was everything?
Because with the Grand Prix, there's so many corners and not a lot of places to pass. Here we have these real long straightaways, and you can even pass in the corners. So, you have plenty of time to pass through the 500 miles, and you could really gain spots in the pit stops. So that starting position doesn't matter. I was always told that if somebody comes up on you fast here at the Indianapolis 500, you let them go by. You don't try and race them, because in about 5 or 6 laps, they may be on a different pit strategy, have fresher tires. You're probably going to pass them back again. So it was weird going through that. You almost race each pit stop. So it's like 30 to 35 laps in between each pit stop, and you're really chasing the track the whole time. So, you're doing your own race in between those pit stops. There's times that you're actually out on this racetrack, and you feel like you're by yourself. Everybody else is on the front straightaway, you're on the back straightaway, and it's like, okay, I'm just like on a private practice.
Am I on the right track?
Yeah.
Am I in the right race?
Is it yellow? Is it red out there? What's going on?
Am I supposed to be out here? Yeah.
Yeah, but towards the end of the race, it's like everybody gets compacted again for some reason, and then you really start racing everybody.
So we have the pit strategy that's important. A lot of people, we think back to 2016 with Alexander Rossi. When he won it as a rookie, they used a fuel strategy. What happened with that? What does that even mean?
So what a fuel strategy is they have engineers that calculate the fuel mileage through the whole run. So like I said, this is 35 laps here. So what they did is they pitted off strategy. So under one yellow, when everybody else was staying out, they came back in and added just a little bit more fuel. So that let them really go, it seemed like one less pit stop than everybody else. So he actually was running out of fuel on the last lap coming down the start finish line. He was shutting the car off going down the back straightaway just to save fuel. It was crazy what they did, but they won the Indy 500 that way.
And he ran out of fuel on his victory lap, so that also did happen. But that was an exciting race.
It was, and some people say, oh, that's not racing. Well, it is. He was the first one to the checkered flag. He won the Indy 500 that way. They were just smarter than everybody else that day.
Well, it helps. Intelligence does help, especially in this race. And strategy is so important, especially when it comes to Sunday's race. Now, I think we have some fans over here that we're going to have a chance to talk to. It is Carb Day. It's the day of the fans. Let's see what we have here. Hello. How we doing, guys? Okay, so what's your name?
Sean.
Where are you guys from?
Avon.
Avon. What's your name?
My name's Jason.
Jason. Okay, so what are we doing out here today? Why was it important for you guys to come here today?
It's a big party and hang out with our friends.
Celebrating, it's our birthday.
How old are you turning? 25?
21.
Excellent.
So how many Carb days have you guys been to? Dozens. So I know for my senior skip day at North Central High School, we came here for that. Maybe freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Oh,
Did you guys do the same thing?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Speedway alumni here.
Speedway. Yeah, Spark Club.
So this is
been down all the time.
We know it.
birthday was on Carb Day, so I was doing from the beginning.
So you don't remember too much of your 21st birthday?
It all kind of coming in as one.
Gotcha.
So what time did you guys get here this morning?
About 8 o'clock.
And you braved the rain to do that.
We planned the Uber ride right when the rain was happening, so we got dropped off right when the rain started. We're pros. We know what to do.
You guys know what you're talking about when it comes to this race. Okay, so are you going to come to the race on Sunday? Is that the plan?
I'm not. I'm just here for the party.
Some people just come from Carb Day. It's very a
We
thing.
party on Sunday too.
That's also a
Do
thing.
that at home.
Been to many races, but not this year.
Okay. So but if you could pick who's going to win this one, I want to get your answer from each of you. Who's going to win this race?
I'm going to say willpower.
Back to back, okay. First time since Elio Castroneves. How about you?
I'm a Carpenter fan.
Carpenter fan. That'd be great to have an American win.
A couple buddies working on Dixon's car, so we're going with Scott Dixon.
Anybody.
The birthday boy says anybody. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care.
Well, I'm with the Carpenter fan because he's a hometown kid.
There you
so
go.
Absolutely.
And how much fun is it being a Speedway alum to be able to come here and spend the day out here at the track?
It's a lot of fun.
I think it's great. How often do you get a chance where the world comes together and hangs out for a common adrenaline pump cause? It's awesome.
It's our birthday party every year, so it's the greatest time of the year.
Well, enjoy your day. Have fun. Maybe listen to a little music. There we go. All right, we have it. So people think that a bunch of different drivers could potentially win this thing. You think Ed Carpenter, though?
I do think Ed Carpenter, he has led so many laps here over the past 7 years. He's got on the pole 3 out of the last 7 years. So I just think that he's probably gone through his video of all those races, kind of picked it apart a little bit, and I think that his strategy is in his head. I think he can do it.
And he also has his teammates Spencer Pigot and Ed Jones up there with him. Spencer Pigot is in position 3, Ed Jones in position 4. Why have they been so fast?
They just have a great setup here. Ed is a master around this racetrack. If you look at his qualifying runs, he's always perfect, and he was able to, relate that into Spencer's car and to Ed's car. So they're a local team. They just have a lot of great guys working on the car, and they have a perfect setup that they're not releasing to everybody.
Well, that always is helpful. Again, the secrets, very important here, especially when it comes to race day. Also, keeping with that Fast 9 group, you also have a driver that's won this race before. We alluded to it earlier, Alexander Rossi. He's in the Fast 9. What does he need to do in order to get to the front of this race when it matters most at the end?
So, it's just like we talked about earlier. It's just a lot of strategy. It's a lot of pit strategy, a lot of fuel strategy. He has to pass cars when he can. He work with his teammates, maybe get in a draft and just run as hard as he can for as long as he can, run a perfect race.
Now, there's also the back row, row 33. James Hinchcliffe, Kyle Kaiser, going to be back there. Sage Karam. Do they have a shot when it's all said and done to come and win this thing?
No one has ever won the Indianapolis 500 from the back row. I think if anybody does from that back row, it's going to be James Hinchcliffe. He has a love-hate relationship with this racetrack. He sat on the pole here. He got injured here, and we almost lost him at one point. So I think that his focus is he thinks this racetrack owes him something, and I think that he's going to run hard, really hard on race day.
And don't forget, James Hinchcliffe got bumped out of the 500 last year, didn't even have a chance to run in that race. So I think a redemption story would definitely be due to him.
Absolutely, and one thing about where they're starting at, that is the worst first lap of any race you're ever going to be in. They're going to have so much turbulence coming down the front straightaway. It's going to be like when you pass a semi on the interstate, multiplied by 1,000,000. And then they're going to go into turn one and they can't lift. And they're hoping that everybody gets through turn one or they're going to be in the back of that accident.
Okay, so that sounds awful first off, because that's my least favorite thing to do on a highway is pass a semi, especially with the wind coming up. So imagine that at 230 miles an hour. Not cool. You have raced in this before. What is Carb Day like as a driver?
Carb Day as a driver, it's like any other day with the exception that you want to run hard, but you really can't, because you can't chance the fact that you may destroy your race car. And especially for the small teams, if they don't have any backup, that means that they're possibly out of the race and they may have to go to that first alternate.
Right. Now, also, what's it like mindset-wise? Tomorrow you have the day off. How are you preparing for this? What does this look like from a preparation standpoint?
You know what? There's so many people, so many things trying to occupy your time. Maybe like today, tomorrow,
Everything that's going on.
and you have to really oblige to that. So it takes a lot of pressure off you. It's like these next 2 days go by so quick, and then you're in, it's gentlemen start your engines and everything's going.
And then you're 230, let's go around this lap. Okay, let's go take a look over here, because Indianapolis Motor Speedway, obviously home to the Indianapolis 500, but also you're in Indiana. There's some great food here. Tenderloins.
So people come to Indiana just for the tenderloins. If you've never been here and you've never had a tenderloin, come to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's great tenderloins. There's great steak sandwiches and corn dogs and gyros. It's almost like we have every nationality here cooking for our fans.
I love a good turkey leg too, like we're back in the medieval times. As you can see, the food, everybody comes here for the food. It's very important to obviously stay full, stay hydrated. A lot of people are out here having a really good time, and I tell you, Speedway has pretty good food.
Speedway has great food. It's like a state fair at a racetrack, it seems like, with just everything that's here. But you're right, you see a lot of people that may get carried out of here on a stretcher from time to time because they don't stay hydrated through this day. And it gets so hot and so humid, that's the main thing you have to do.
Here's your warning from Tice Carlson. If you come out here for the Indianapolis 500, make sure you are drinking water. It gets hot, and obviously stay full, because there's some great food to sample here.
Yeah, look at everybody here just in this plaza together having fun. Food lines are long right now. It's almost like it feels like a train station.
Well, I know we're getting ready for it, that's for sure. Now, look at it. Come take a look at this over here, too. All the turkey legs. That's like, there has to be 25, 30 of these on here. Just roasting, getting ready to go.
And all those will be gone here probably within the next hour. Like you said, you're going to see people walking around like they're Neanderthals here, just filling those turkey legs. Some of them will have two. They'll be two-fold, hold them in each hand, but they're great.
Just double-fisting turkey legs.
They'll have double-fisted beers, double-fisted turkey legs.
Now, I do have a confession to make. I've never had a turkey leg here, and I've never had a tenderloin.
That is just crazy. The first thing that you have to do when you come and move to Indiana is have a tenderloin.
Wow.
That's like a state tradition.
Look at him here spraying this here. All right, sir. What do we have going on here?
We have turkey legs over here on this grill. We're smoking right now. Yes.
How many of these do you plan on making today?
As many as I can.
How many do you have on the grill right now about?
About 60 right here.
How do you go through the whole entire day and just not eat any of them and just, have the discipline to not?
The customers. Yeah, the customers, seeing them happy, that makes my day, Yeah.
So I know watching all the food shows that I watch, there's something I'm sure they taste better than that.
Tice is going to come back and order 30 of them, so get ready to make some more.
I'm just going to pass them out here.
There you go. So there you have it. Carb Day. A lot of fun. A lot of the fans out here. 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500 coming up on Sunday. One more hour-and-a-half practice. A place like no other, a race like no other. This is May, Tice.
This is May. There's nothing. This is like Christmas in Indianapolis. It really is. Growing up here, it seemed like there was nothing else that you want to do when you come out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and just experience everything that you could here. There's so many bucket list items to do here, and you start checking them off.
And of course, the city of Indianapolis does such a great job. They've had this hashtag Indy Wings out, getting everybody ready for the race, getting the city. They've really embraced this whole entire tradition that is the Indianapolis 500. That's going to do it for us here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Carb Day. For Tice Carlson, I'm Megan McEwen.